Two nations, one region, and a story of alliance turned rivalry. Welcome to the complex and often explosive relationship between Israel and Iran, where alliances forged over oil and strategy have transformed into decades of suspicion, secrecy, and indirect warfare. This is the journey from allies to adversaries. In the 1950s, as the Cold War heated up, Iran and Israel were surprisingly close allies. Led by Iran's Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the two countries formed a discreet but strong relationship. The shared fear of Arab nationalism brought them together as they exchanged intelligence and even military support. But in 1979, everything changed. The Shah was overthrown, and Ayatollah Khomeini established the Islamic Republic. The new regime condemned Israel as an illegitimate state, labeling it an enemy of Islam. Relations between Iran and Israel turned from discreet cooperation to open hostility. Under Khomeini's leadership, Iran's foreign policy took on an anti-Israel focus. By the 1980s, Iran was funding and arming Hezbollah in Lebanon, a group with one primary aim: to resist Israel and ultimately to erase it from the region. This marked the beginning of a proxy conflict that would shape Middle Eastern politics for decades. Israel has long believed in a preemptive strategy to maintain its security. In 1981, Israel launched a daring strike on Iraq's Osirak nuclear reactor, fearing Saddam Hussein might use it to develop nuclear weapons. This operation, while not aimed at Iran, sent a clear message to all neighboring powers. Israel would take action to prevent any threat of nuclear proliferation. By the 1990s, Iran began advancing its own nuclear program. Iran claimed it was for peaceful purposes, but Israel viewed it as an existential threat. The Israeli intelligence network went to extraordinary lengths to uncover Iran's nuclear capabilities, leading to covert operations, leaks, and heightened tensions. Israel, determined to stop Iran's nuclear program, allegedly launched a series of covert attacks on Iran's nuclear scientists. In high-profile assassinations, several prominent scientists were killed in broad daylight, sparking outrage in Tehran and escalating tensions to new heights. In 2010, a cyber weapon known as Stuxnet was discovered in Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. This computer worm, allegedly developed by Israel and the United States, sabotaged Iran's nuclear centrifuges. It was one of the first known instances of a cyber attack on a nation's infrastructure and set a precedent for modern digital warfare. The animosity between Israel and Iran wasn't limited to direct actions. Throughout the 2010s, both countries supported opposing sides in Syria's civil war, with Iran backing the Assad regime and Hezbollah, while Israel conducted airstrikes against Iranian positions in Syria. This created a new front in their Cold War. In 2020, the Abraham Accords reshaped the Middle East's alliances. Israel normalized relations with several Arab states, including the UAE and Bahrain, shifting regional dynamics. Iran saw this as an Israeli attempt to isolate and surround it, increasing the sense of urgency around its nuclear program. Today, diplomatic efforts to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions continue, with many hoping to avoid another war. But with Israel viewing a nuclear Iran as an existential threat, and Iran continuing its support for anti-Israel proxies, the conflict remains unresolved. Will these two powers ever find peace? Or are they destined for a future of endless conflict? On October 1st, Iran launched missile attacks on Israel in response to months of escalating tensions. This incident was part of a larger pattern of intensifying conflict that has defined Israel-Iran relations this year. Israel struck back with airstrikes on Iranian military targets, including facilities in Syria and Lebanon linked to Iranian proxies, and also launched direct attacks on Iranian bases in Isfahan, Iran. This led to high-profile losses for Hezbollah and Iranian military officials. A significant response from Iran on October 25th and 26th included a counterattack on Israeli military facilities. Although the impact on Israel's capabilities was limited, it highlighted the deepening hostility and Iran's intention to retaliate forcefully. The situation heightened concerns about broader conflict, especially as the United States sought to mediate a de-escalation to avoid being drawn into a regional war, given its alliance with Israel. The story of Israel and Iran is one of shifting alliances, covert operations, and regional power plays. It's a tale where history meets modern strategy and where every move carries the weight of nations. As we look toward the future, one question remains. Will these two nations find a path to peace, or will their story continue in shadows and in silence? Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories.